Okay. Okay. Can you keep up? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the RunnerGuitar. As you may have remembered around a year back at this point, I did a commentary over the first few episodes of the RoosterTeeth series RWBY, or RWBY for short. However, I decided to delete those videos once I realized that the Blu-ray that I have right now in my hands, it's very pretty by the way, came with the option of watching all the episodes as a movie. And I'm assuming they're gonna do the same with the rest of the series. So because of that, I have decided to make RWBY a series of movie commentaries. That is assuming that I'll still enjoy the series by the time that the second volume and the other volumes come out, which I think will be the most likely case. But as right now we only have volume 1, so yeah. It's actually my third time commentating over this fucking series, and I'm kinda sick. And I'll be honest, I'm really pissed off about that. I had recorded the entire commentary for volume 1 around 5 months ago. And while cleaning my laptop, I'm just gonna go in a little tangent here. I saw all the files of my older commentaries and I thought, I'm just gonna delete this. Next thing I know, I also deleted the fucking commentary. Fuck my life. But you're not here to listen about me ranting about how much of an idiot I am. You're here to see RWBY, the creation of RoosterTeeth and Monty Oum. So instead of watching me talk, you're gonna have to watch the series with me. Now keep forewarned, just like my Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works commentary, you're gonna have to get your own copy of RWBY or find it somewhere. Because I'm not gonna risk copyright by putting stuff here that could potentially damage this channel, regardless of whether I'm a partner or not. So with that said, I'll be watching this as a movie with the option to watch it as a movie in the Volume 1 Blu-ray that comes along with a bunch of extras and such. So if you can get that and watch it with me, then that's fine. If you already got it, then let's hit it. Otherwise, then you'll have to figure it out. But you're a resourceful bunch, so you'll know what to do. So at the count of 3, I'll press play. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go!
Stories scattered through time. Mankind has grown quite fond of recounting the exploits of heroes and villains, forgetting so easily that we are remnants, byproducts of a forgotten past.
This voice may sound familiar to a lot of you. That's because the woman doing the narration here is Jennifer Lee Taylor, aka the voice of Cortana in the Halo games. It's actually kinda interesting considering that RoosterTeeth is pretty much known and pretty much made out of people that play and revolve around Halo, thanks to the Red vs. Blue series.
These forces clashed, and it seemed the darkness was intent on returning man's brief existence to the void.
The void! Excess is waiting.
Is enough to ignite change. And in time, man's passion, resourcefulness, and ingenuity led them to the tools that would help even the odds. This power was appropriately named Dust.
You know, if you told somebody that doesn't know anything about RoosterTeeth or RWBY that the powers that they have are called Dust, I bet you 99.9% of people would probably think that Dust is just like those things, like the things that actually build up under your bed or something. Little trivia here, that map that you just saw there on screen was actually based on a napkin that Monty Oum used while cleaning his mouth after eating pizza. And ladies and gentlemen, meet Roman Torchwick, one of our main antagonists for this series, who by the way was supposed to be only for episode 1. But after fans ended up loving him so much, RoosterTeeth decided, we'll put him in a bit more. He is actually voiced by Gray Haddock. You might remember him as Lucas from the season 11 of Red vs. Blue. Yeah, because that's where you want to have your powerful magical crystals, right in a window shelf. You think my what and who now? I actually like the look of the goons, but I hate how they all look similar except for the change of of beard or something. And fans of FMA will actually notice that in the background you can actually see Truth from the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And meet RWBY, our protagonist, wearing what has to be one of the coolest headphones of all time. Motherfucker went flying! And once again, cue the rock music, my angels. The music in the show was actually composed by Jeff Williams, the composer for most of the music in Red vs. Blue. And this song, This Will Be the Day, is the theme of this series, sung by her beautiful and talented daughter, Casey Lee Williams. Nice attention to detail over there, by the way, when she pauses the music. Now, the reason why everybody started watching the show is because Monty Oum, the creator and pretty much the daddy of the show, was also responsible for Dead Fantasy and Haloid, aka sexy girls fighting at max power. And as you can see here, Monty Oum is pretty much the god of over-the-top action animation. I think that's because he mentioned in an interview that he wanted to do his own fighting game, so he wants to go over the top with his things, so I'm all for that. Hey wait, is any of that animation look wrong with that cigarette thing? Boom shakalaka! Your mouth wasn't even moving. Actually, something that I do want to bring up is that even though the character designs are amazing and that the art style itself is very pretty, I don't particularly like how it seems to like gradients. Like, the models are very well done and very well built, but I don't like the lack of gradients. Like, it's just one solid color and very few shadows here and there. And that's the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh wait, never mind. Meet Glynda Goodwitch. As you can probably tell by the name, she's actually based on on the Goodwitch Glynda from the Stories of Us. I would have just loved that Monty Oum just has him like bouncing around like a fucking ragdoll. By the way, the thing that she's doing is not magic, it's dust. Monty Oum has made it very clear that magic and dust powers are very different. I personally don't see it, but out of respect, we'll just call it dust. By the way, the music in the show, as you're hearing right now, is just freaking fantastic. Jeff Williams is an amazing composer, but the fact that he managed to get an orchestra to actually play this for him is actually just incredible. I don't know how he did it, but just the fact that he was able to do it, it deserves a huge applause. Why wouldn't you shoot him before? Like, I wonder if actually RWBY and Glynda here could overpower Cinder, the name of the bad woman over there, if they had attacked together. That's probably the reaction of most internet nerds if they saw their idol. Glynda here is actually voiced by Kathleen Sulach. You might remember her as Agent Text in Red vs. Blue. And here comes Ozpin. As you can probably tell already by the name, he's based on the Wizard of Oz himself. He was originally supposed to be voiced by Monty himself, since they actually share a lot of design similarities. Like, Monty looks very much like Ozpin here. But however, due to Monty's lack of knowledge of voice acting at the point of the creation of this episode, the role was given to Shannon Lee McCorwick, who you might know as Agent Washington in Red vs. Blue. It's the RWBY vacuum. She's literally sucking up the cookies into her throat and disappearing them. Asian jokes insert here. Okay, I think what was in those cookies to make her so hyperactive? Insert long rant here of exposition. Ruby here is actually voiced by Lindsay Tugney. I don't know how to pronounce that, I apologize. She's actually a big member of RoosterTeeth, being a member of the podcast and such, helping the achievement hunters, and actually is the soon-to-be wife of Michael Jones, who you might remember as a Rage Quit guy. Isn't there any paperwork that needs to be filled out? Like, he just goes, yeah, sure, whatever, join us. Hi, Tits. I mean, Yang. I don't know why I kind of like the animation of Yang going, like the animation she had just there, just bouncing around. Actually, who uses the term beast knees anymore? I've never heard that until I saw this show. What? To the drawing? What? Can we change the channel? I don't like the news. Shut up, Pete. I don't need to listen to you complain about Pokemon again. Thank you, Glynda.
Hello and welcome to Beacon. Who's that? My name is Goodwitch. Oh, you are among the privileged few who have received the honor of being selected to attend this prestigious academy.
However, it is very expensive and you shall not be offered scholarships, so you'll be paying $1 million per day. I hope your parents are willing to have their wallets commit suicide for your education. If not, then we're all fucked, so please get straight A's. Can you guess who the main characters are? I'll be honest, the design of those ships is incredibly awesome, and I would love it if those were actually in real life. That isn't nice, Ruby. Hey, it could be worse. It could be all over you. By the way, whoever drew that background has my respect for all eternity, because that looked incredibly awesome. I just realized the design of the ships in the front actually looks like a knight's helmet. Huh, random attention to detail. Come on, Johnny, it's just a plane. It could be worse. Actually, now that I'm noticing here, Yang had her weapons, which are the giant gauntlets on her arms, during one of the shots there opened, like ready for fight. I have to give props to the RWBY fanbase for right now for going throughout the entire episodes and actually sending the animation errors to RoosterTeeth so they could be fixed for the Blu-ray release. Some weren't able to be fixed, but I'm incredibly surprised that the fanbase is so dedicated, even though the series is so new and recent. Isn't that an actual motto in some kind of martial arts? Of course, pull out the giant fucking gun size in the middle of school. Well, it is a hunting school, so I guess it's not against the rules, but isn't there like a rule that you say only for practice, not at random? Ow. You know, in any normal anime, that shot would have been a fan service shot. Hi, Weiss. I'll be honest, her character is not what I expected when I first saw this show. In her trailer, the white trailer, she was singing, having a very royal look to her. Her song Mirror Mirror made me think of Snow White, which actually is what she's based off. And then you have this bitch of a person who is more like... She seems more like Rin Tosaka from Fate Stay Night than actual royalty here. Well, Weiss here is actually voiced by Kara Elber. I don't know how to pronounce that, I apologize. Who is responsible for the RoosterTeeth podcast and the Achievement Horse. And actually it's kind of interesting that she has such a whiny character, because she has mentioned in many interviews that to get herself into character, she acts like a whiny little bitch. And I can see how it works.
Controversial labor forces and questionable business partners. What? How dare?
Anytime that a person can be pissed off just by saying the truth, I will approve.
Guess I'm not the only one having a rough first day. So,
Oh, come on, I just wanted to make a friend. It's hard enough already that I'm alone and with only 80 subscribers. I want more.
Hey. I'm Jaune.
RWBY. Aren't you the guy that threw up on the ship?
You know, when you're trying to make a friend, that's usually not the first thing that you bring up, RWBY.
All I'm saying is that
Actually, Jaune here is actually based on Joan of Arc. Like, Saber is based on King Arthur, but female. He's based on Joan of Arc, but male. And he's actually voiced by Miles Luna, the writer of the show, and the writer for Red vs. Blue Seasons 10 and Season 11.
they will. Well, I hope they will.
I actually do like the character that he gives to the personality that he gives to the voice. He's actually rather unique in the sense that you actually do feel like he's a wimp, but he's trying hard.
Also customizable, high-impact sniper rifle.
What?
It's also a gun.
Sniper rifle. You should have been able to connect the dots there, Johnny.
I got the sword.
Swords are always better.
I have a shield, too.
So, what did they do?
Shield versus Johnny. Shield wins. She even looks disappointed there. Like, oh, I was expecting something better out of you, Monty.
So, when I get tired of carrying it, I can just put it away.
Wouldn't it weigh the same?
It would actually be worse because when the shield is open, you have the weight spread out throughout the entire thing. Meanwhile, having it crunched up will actually put all the weight into one area, so it would be even more of a pain in the ass.
It's a hand-me-down. My great-great-grandfather used it to fight in the war.
Sounds more like a family heirloom to me. Well, I like it. Not many people have an appreciation for the classics these days.
Yeah, the classics.
So why'd you help me out back there?
Well, you're hot, you're good looking, and I just wanted to make a friend. I'm all alone, considering that I'm not that useful anyway.
Hey, where are we going?
Oh, I don't know. I was following you.
I'll be honest, that happens to me a lot back at my school in Venezuela. I would be talking to my friend and we were just like, "Where are you going?" "I don't know, I was just following you." And we ended up appearing in the director's office, in the principal's office for no reason.
I gotta go. I'll see you after the ceremony.
Hey, wait. Great. Where am I supposed to find another nice, quirky girl to talk to?
Right behind you, buddy.
Go, little sister. You mean since you ditched me and I exploded? Yikes. Meltdown already? No, I literally exploded a hole in front of the school.
Well, the graphics weren't good enough to show the crater, but yeah, there was an explosion.
I wish. I tripped over some crappy girl's luggage and then she yelled at me. And I sneezed and then I exploded. And
Right behind you, buddy. Ruby.
I just wanted her to stop yelling at me. You! Oh god, it's happening again!
Ruby, where are you? We got some work to do now.
It was an accident! What's this?
Dust for Dummies. Another inadequate individuals. I actually really like that pamphlet. RoosterTeeth, please make a real one that actually has information in it.
You really want to start making things up to me? Absolutely. Read this and don't ever speak to me again.
Oh, come on. It could be worse, buddy. It was kind of your fault for shoving the dust into her face.
Friends, okay? Yeah, great idea, sis. Hello, Weiss. I'm RWBY. Want to hang out? We could go shopping for school supplies.
Is that what girls really do? I'm curious. Is that actually what girls do in real life?
No.
I actually love their expression there. You could apply that face to almost anything.
You have traveled here today in search of knowledge, to hone your craft and acquire new skills. And when you're finished, you plan to dedicate your life to the protection of the people. But I look amongst you, and all I see is wasted energy, in need of purpose, direction. You assume knowledge will free you of this, but your time at this school will prove that knowledge can only carry you so far.
You need skills, talent, and brains. Please, no twerking in this school.
You will gather at the barn tonight. Tomorrow, your initiation begins. Be ready. You are dismissed. You seem kind of...
Yeah, considering how he was acting before, this seems incredibly weird. Nobody asked you, Johnny. Okay, I actually find it weird how they're both weird and cool how they're mixing 2D drawings with the 3D models, but it actually kind of clashes at some points. Because every guy looks like... I don't know why. The fact that he's just walking with a onesie, like... I don't know why you think Macklemore, but it's hilarious. Can somebody just put Johnny's face over Macklemore's face in Thrift Shop, please? That actually would be kind of awesome. People who are listening right now to Yang will actually notice that her voice might sound very familiar if you're a fan of Rooster Teeth. That's because she's actually voiced by Barbara Dunkelman, or Barbara Punkelman, as some of you might know her, who is the co-director for the RTX events from Rooster Teeth. And even though she does a good voice as she does a good job as the voice actress, Yang herself lacks a lot of development, even though she's supposed to be one of the main four. And honestly, she's probably the one character from the main four that gets the least development. Like, Blake will get her development later, so will RWBY and Weiss. But Yang is just like the energetic girl that there's nothing more to her so far in the show. Especially, and it's kind of glaring considering that she's supposed to be one of the main four. You'll see what I mean as we see on, but yeah. And may I just say, Blake looks incredibly hot in that suit that she has for a pajama. Blake Belladonna, voiced by Erin Seck, who is actually the girlfriend of Miles Luna, the guy who is responsible for writing most of the show. She doesn't do much in Rooster Teeth, but she is friends with most of the staff.
Yes, it's lovely. Almost as lovely as this book.
Sassy Blake is sassy.
Continue to read. As soon as you leave.
That could have not been more obvious, Yang.
Your book? Does it have a name? Well, it's about a man with two souls, each fighting for control of his body. Oh yeah.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Or did they just not say it for copyright purposes? That book is rather old. It could be mentioned in any place and any time, I think.
Then one of the reasons why is that? You think you'll live happily ever after? I'm hoping we all will.
Well, actually, come to think about it, Blake, isn't it kind of obvious? You usually kind of want to do what you admire in your childhood. I love video games, so I want to do something that my video games do. Well, it's kind of hard in that sense, but you get the idea.
That's why we're here. Make it better.
I like the contrast here between cynical and realist, between cynical and optimist, between Blake and and Ruby here. It's kind of interesting how Blake, as we'll see with Blake's development later, and don't you just hate that when you're trying to sleep and all of a sudden somebody starts screaming or putting dubstep at the max volume? Sugar Rush, go! Meet Nora and Ren. Probably one of the characters that, even though they get the least development, already have the biggest fan group. Nora here, the hyperactive ditzy girl who somehow manages to not annoy the crap out of his friend, is voiced by Samantha Ireland, who is actually the voice for for Agent Connecticut from Red vs. Blue. And Ren here is actually voiced by Monty Oum. It's actually kind of interesting because he mentioned that he didn't trust his own voice acting abilities, and yet here he is voicing Ren.
Signals so we can find each other in the forest. Can you imagine a sloth?
Nora,
Yes, Ren?
I don't think sloths make a lot of noise.
That's why it's perfect. No.
I see. Are there really people in real life where things really go over their heads like that? Like they just say, that's their way of saying, "Yo, shut up," and they're like, "Oh, I need to shut up, right," and just mashing words like crazy.
Yep. No more awkward small talk or getting to know you stuff. Today I get to let my sweetheart do the talking. Well, remember, Ruby, you're not the only one going through initiation. If you want to grow up, you're going to have to meet new people and learn to work together.
Shut up, Mom. I can't live alone by myself. I'm already more than 18 years old.
And secondly, I don't need people to help me grow up. I drink milk.
Edward already proved that in Brotherhood.
I don't know. I'll just be on your team or something. Maybe you should try being on someone else's team. My dearest sister Yang.
Don't you just hate it when that happens? You're actually trying to hang out with someone, and they're like hinting at Joe, I don't want to be with you right now, so please go away.
Maybe it would help you.
You cannot actually start feeling kind of guilty at some points.
Break out of my shell. That's absolutely ridiculous.
There's no way I put my gear in locker 636 yesterday. I would have remembered having it count that high. Why does this have to happen today?
Because you're the butt monkey of the show.
Doctor, whose team you would like to be on? I'm sure everyone must be eager to unite with such a strong, well-known individual such as yourself.
I'm not quite sure.
I'll be honest, one of my favorite designs here is for Pyrrha, the redhead girl. Her design is actually based on a female Achilles, and I just love the way it looks. Like, the way that it both has armor, but it still shows femininity. I just love that. And actually, I'll be honest, Pyrrha actually has one of my favorite voices in the show. She's actually voiced by Jem Brown, who is actually the voice of Agent Carolina in Red vs. Blue. But the way that she does the voice for Pyrrha here, it just has a certain quality to it that I really do enjoy.
So,
Joe, Hot Girl is also trying to talk to you. Why not try and talking to you both?
don't worry. No need to be embarrassed. So, been hearing rumors about teams. I was thinking you and me would make a good one. What do you say?
Actually, I think the teams are comprised of 4 students each, so...
You don't say. Well, hot stuff. Play your cards right, and maybe we could join up with the winning team.
Jaune, is it... Do you have any idea who
At least she's nice enough to remember his name.
this is? Pyrrha. Hello again. Pyrrha graduated top of her class at Sanctum.
Never heard of it.
She's won the Missile Regional Tournament 4 years in a row. A new record.
What?
She's also part of every Pumpkin Pete's Marshmallow Play Spa.
That's you? I think we do that for Star Athletes and cartoon characters.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. Sadly, the cereal isn't very good for you.
Well, how can it be actually kind of cool? You would just be trying different posts until they say, okay, we're using this one for the box.
Actually, Jaune, I think you'd make a great leader. Joe, stop it. Seriously, please stop.
Prepare your anus. Seriously, that post for John really looked like he was preparing to get butt fucked.
Now, I'm not supposed to do this, but maybe I could pull some strings. Find a place for you. What do you say?
All right, that's a bit too close. Pyrrha, a little help, please.
Ow!
I'm sorry.
All for just tease.
Seriously, Johnny, you're lucky that your neck didn't just snap in half from that. It actually kind of looks like he snapped his neck in half.
You.
Likewise. Having some trouble there, Lady Killer? I don't understand. My dad said all women look for is confidence. Where did I go wrong?
Well, they also look for confidence and a good personality, Johnny. You have it, but you're hiding it.
Come on, Jaune. Let's go.
For years, you have trained to become warriors, and today your abilities will be evaluated in the Emerald Forest.
Now, I'm sure many of you have heard rumors about the assignment of teams. Well, allow us to put an end to your confusion. Each of you will be given teammates.
We will pull straws. Whoever has the closest straws, whoever has the same size of straws will become teams.
This is your time here at Beacon, so it is in your best interest to be paired with someone with whom you can work well. That being said, the first person you make eye contact with after landing will be your partner for the next 4 years.
What? Isn't that actually kind of detrimental? You just said you might want to make sure that you team up with somebody that you're good with, and you're putting it to the outside problem. For all she knows, it could be Johnny with a bully, or it could be Pyrrha with, I don't know, Solid Snake,
You will be monitored and graded for the
or anybody with Nora. That would probably end in a disaster.
Our instructors will not intervene. You will find several relics. Each pair must...
You need them to get 100% completion in Crash 3.
You will guard that item, as well as your standing, and grade you appropriately. Are there any questions?
Yeah, sir?
Good. Take your position.
Everybody hates Johnny.
Sir? I've got a question.
Whee!
Landing strategy thing. What is it? You're like dropping us off or something?
No. You will be falling.
Meaning catapult. I would actually love it if my school had a catapult like that.
Parachute express?
No. You will be using your own landing strategy.
Yeah.
I love the glasses that she puts on there and they smirk.
What exactly is a landing strategy?
It means good luck and try not to die. Aspen looks kinda happy there, like, I love my job. Hi, Monty Oum logo. Ow! You understand why you use the sight, but why did you need to shoot? Losing anything except the glamour. Now, like I mentioned before, Monty Oum is the god of action animation, so scenes like these are actually incredibly well animated. However, the scenes where they're just talking actually look a bit stiff, but scenes like these are the ones that really do look the best. So a spear that can turn into a sword that can turn into a gun. That actually has to be a pretty good weapon if you want variety in combat. Why are you apologizing? You just saved his life, woman! Though he's actually kinda lucky that you didn't spear him through the balls. Well, you don't know if you're actually gonna be able to fight well with her. You need good combat chemistry for it. RoosterTeeth animated adventure style, go!
I don't think he's very good enough for her. Oh, what about Blake? So mysterious, so calm. What, she likes books? Well, then again, I'm not sure I'd be able to hold a conversation with her. Ugh. Okay, who else do I know in this school? There's Fang, Jaune, Blake,
And Snow White! Eye contact made.
We're supposed to be teammates. Ow.
Did she just clip through the bush? You're kinda weighing your options here, Weiss.
By no means does this make us friends.
How light must RWBY be for her to just be able to get dragged like that?
John?
He kinda looks like his jacket kinda broke in that angle, like the fabric just broke.
What's the hurry? I will not let my mission be delayed because you're too slow.
You're too slow! What the fuck? What was with that doggy smile there?
Just because I don't exactly know how to deal with people doesn't mean I don't know how to deal with monsters. You're about to see a whole different side of me today, Weiss. And after it's all over, you're gonna be like, wow, that RWBY girl is really, really cool.
Even though I agree with that statement that you are pretty cool, it's gonna take a lot more than combat to convince Ice Queen bitch here. RWBY, the cameraman is turning off the light. That's usually not a good sign.
Hello? Is anyone out there? Hello?
I would want to fight or just talk to somebody.
RWBY, is that you? Nope.
Finally, some action, yeah! Boom shakalaka.
You guys wouldn't happen to have seen a girl in a red hood, would you?
We kinda ate her a few minutes ago.
Jeez, you two couldn't hit the broadside of the... You...
Confusion. Jesus Christ, never mess with a girl's hair. Ow. Ow, did she just punch him in the balls? Holy shit. Well, it's kinda your fault for having such long hair.
I could have taken him.
Yeah, but you probably would have destroyed half the world in the process. Actually, a little bit of trivia here. The reason why Weiss is left-handed and does fencing is because Monty Oum himself did fencing during high school, and he's left-handed. Couldn't you just stop yourself?
Hey, watch it! Excuse me, if you attacked out of turn, I could have killed you.
Out of turn? When was any turn ever decided?
We have to go.
Mommy, it burns!
What was that? That should have been easy. Well, perhaps if you had exercised even the slightest amount of caution with the placement of your strikes, I wouldn't have set the forest on fire. What's that supposed to mean?
It means you almost killed yourself with a fucking flaming sword! Is it so hard to understand, RWBY? For once I agree with Weiss, you're being stupid! Oh, burn. Never make a woman angry! Jesus Christ!
Did you hear that?
Gunfire. It seems some of our comrades have encountered the enemy.
That's what happens when you get distracted, Jaune.
It's okay. Just a scratch.
Don't apologize, seriously! It's not your fucking fault!
Huh?
Your aura.
Is it?
John, do you know what aura is?
Isn't that the magical energy that everybody has in anime?
Do you know what aura is?
Aura is the manifestation of our soul. It bears our burdens and shields our hearts. Have you ever felt like you were being watched without knowing that someone was there?
Yeah.
With practice, our aura can be our shield. Everyone has it, even
So your so the AT fuels from Evangelion?
monsters we fight lack of soul. They are creatures of Grimm. The manifestation of anonymity.
Actually, something that I wonder about this whole era concept. Even though it's incredibly cool that how your soul is your shield, wouldn't that mean that if somebody overpowers your shield, they would end up killing you because they're destroying your soul?
Understanding both dark and light helps us manifest our aura.
And of course, the Asian character would be fighting against a yin and yang creature.
By bearing your soul outward as a force, you can deflect harm. All of our tools and equipment are conduits for
Great, now now we're in Sonic again. Rail grinding and everything.
soul and fighting.
It's like a force field.
Isn't that what I said earlier about Evangelion?
Look at it that way.
Are you even touching the teeth there, Ren? Ow! Ugh! Ooh, that looks painful and delicious.
Now, close your eyes and concentrate.
Best way to have exposition: have an awesome epic fight scene showcasing the exposition. Okay, it looks like activating the aura was painful for her.
Think that we achieve immortality. Through this, we become a paragon of virtue and glory to rise above all. Infinite in distance and unbound by death. I release your soul, and by my shoulder protect thee.
Pyrrha?
It's all right. I used my aura to unlock yours, but the energy that protects you now is your own. You have a
Can I get an aura? Can some hot girl come over to my place and activate my aura somehow? I don't know how to do it, but we can try and figure something out.
I still don't think that's what a sloth sounds like.
That sounded more like a toucan.
Our last pair has been formed, sir. Nora Valkyrie and Y Ren. Oh, I can't possibly imagine those two getting along. Still,
Apparently they've been friends for over years now.
I don't care what his transcripts say. That Jaune fellow is not ready for this level of combat. I guess we'll find out soon enough. At their current pace, they should reach the temple within just a few months. Speaking of which, what did you use as relics this year? Professor Osmond?
Oh, I just happen to use your family heirlooms.
I mean, this way. It's definitely this way. Alright, it's official. We passed it. Why can't you just admit that you have no idea where we're going? Because I know exactly where we're going. We're going.
Do you happen to have a map or something? In Minecraft, that's actually rather useful.
Oh, stop it. You don't know where we are either. Well, at least I'm not pretending like I know everything. What is that supposed to mean? It means you're a big, stupid jerk and I hate you. Just keep moving.
Actually, that line pretty much solidifies my opinion of this show being made for a younger audience than Red vs. Blue. Red vs. Blue was clearly made for an, I don't want to say mature audience, but an audience of older age. Not necessarily more mature or of older age, considering that they kept with a fuck shit, my porn, no! Here, I can already tell that Lindsay was already almost at the point of saying, you're a big fucking bitch. But because of the demographic of the show, it was, she had to force herself to go with the jerk line instead of the bitch line. Which actually would have made a bit more sense in my opinion at this point, considering how angry they're supposed to be. It actually kind of fits with the fact that Ruby's kind of childish and such.
Looks like we weren't the first ones here. Well, I guess we should pick one.
Think this is it?
Does that look like a temple to you? Well, maybe if you were in a Zelda game.
Pyrrha, I made a torch. Could you at least humor me for maybe 5 more feet?
There, you fell 5 feet forward. Now go back.
Do you feel that?
Soul-crushing regret.
No, it's warm.
I didn't get that line. Is it referring to the breath of something that we'll be seeing later, or is it referring to the water getting warmer?
Sure.
That wasn't too hard.
Well, it's not like this place is very difficult to find.
Tell that to Johnny and Ruby.
That's the relic!
Shiny thing! Experience has taught Johnny to experiment with everything that glows. Unless it moves. I'll be honest, this scene really reminds me of Finding Nemo.
Some girl's in trouble.
Poor Johnny. Glee! Jesus Christ, man! By the way, the design of the Grimm creatures is really fucking cool. No shit, idiot!
Whatever you do, don't touch.
Well, it's kinda hard to not let go when the thing fucking throws you like a fucking baseball.
Blake, did you hear that? What should we do?
Splat. 5 minutes earlier. Is that me or does that look like hair in the background? Thank you for the slow-mo sound effect there, Gavin. You like how they have Beowulfs and stars instead of like the random chicken thing that they usually have. Wait, was it chicken or angels? I can't remember.
Hey, Ruby. Did your sister just fall from the sky?
So apparently Thor is a cowgirl? But it looked like fun! Actually, interesting note, this part, including the Nora scream, are the only parts in the entire instrumental soundtrack that actually have voice. Like, the entire soundtrack is like the orchestral pieces, and then you have that one part of I'm Queen of the Castle throughout the entire thing, and it just stands out. And like, I was listening to it and I was like expecting just the trumpets, and all of a sudden, wait, Nora singing? What? Third wheel!
Did she just run all the way here with a Deathstalker on her tail?
I can't take it anymore! Can everyone just chill out for 2 seconds before something crazy happens again?
1, 2, 3. Well, I gave you an extra second, so that should help you calm down.
How could you leave me? I said jump.
You should have been screaming that actually.
She's falling.
I think everybody's still come like, yeah, she's gonna die. We don't need her anyway. Chance to be a hero. Johnny takes it. But who's holding you? Wait, that should have broken his spine! Jesus Christ, man! I really feel bad for Johnny, seriously. He doesn't get it easy. Best line in the entire show. I would trust you were actually looking at the creature as you said that. Yang, you have gauntlets for you have shotgun gauntlets. You can use them to probably break those wings and get to her.
You are so childish.
That's probably because she's probably like 2 or like around 2 years younger than you.
And hyperactive, and don't even get me started on your fighting style. And I suppose I can be a bit difficult, but if we're going to do this, we're going to have to do this together. So if you quit trying to show off, I'll be nicer. I'm not trying to show off. I want you to know I can do this. You're fine.
Deathstalker and Nevermore versus RWBY team and the other 4. I know the name of their team, but it's a spoiler, so yeah. Well, Juniper. People already can tell that these are supposed to be the teams.
That thing's circling back. What are we gonna do?
Look, there's no sense in dilly-dallying. Our objective is right in front of us. She's right. Our mission is to grab an artifact and make it back to the cliffs. There's no point in fighting these things.
Run and live. That is an idea I can get behind.
I think because you're kind of a bullshit leader. My favorite pieces in chess. You know what? Either the ice would have broken or he would have ripped off his own tail.
Let's go. What is it? Nothing.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for probably my favorite part of the entire Volume 1 saga. The Nevermore and Deathstalker fight. The combination of the music and visuals are what we know Monty Oum to do. Battle Royale war shit. Like, I know a lot of people watch the fantasy and they got really hyped when they heard of RWBY just because it would be like wars fighting 24/7. But this is probably like the biggest fight that we have in the entire show. Like as far as the amount of people fighting and the amount of things going on. Prepare to get fucked in 3, 2, 1, kaboom! And then Johnny died. No way, there he is. Probably you need more than speed to defeat that thing.
Yeah, but I can't make that jump.
Nora finds a way. Can you tell that she's supposed to be female Thor? Nice job there. I'll be honest, this is actually probably one of my favorite shots in the entire thing. It just looks really fucking cool. Okay, when my book if my book ever becomes a series, I want Monty Oum to be the action director for it. And now it's time for one of my favorite tracks in the entire soundtrack, Red Like Roses, Part 2. It's actually a version exclusive for the show, as the album version is kind of different in the intro, and it has 2 verses and 2 choruses, being sung by Casey Lee Williams again and her mother. Oh fuck, I forget the name. But yeah, it's sung by Casey Lee Williams and her mother, who is the wife of Jeff Williams. And the guitar here plus the vocals just works incredibly well. I just love how this song sounds and how it matches up with the action. This scene is also one of my favorites just because of the fact that it shows the combat chemistry between the 2 teams. Even though Johnny lacks the experience, he is the leader, and it shows clearly in this scene as he's the one leading the fight and telling everybody how to attack, and he's the one to realize how to destroy this thing in the best way possible. When Captain America throws her mighty shield. Who would he have in that same face he was launching the air like that? He can take gonna stand another minute. Fall. Also, this version is a bit more focused on the orchestral than the rocket, but it still works pretty damn well. I'm sorry that I'm not talking much throughout this scene, it's just that I love this scene so much. I love watching it and seeing how the scene just about to crash and BOOM! And how lucky that Yang just knew about the plan from the very beginning. Like, no need to tell her or anything that we're gonna freeze this thing. RWBY slingshot. Go, 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 go! Yeah! Freaking beautiful. I love that scene so fucking... I'm feeling goosebumps right now. I'm not gonna lie. Understatement of the fucking century, Yang! Spoiler alert, only 2 out of these characters have actually voice actors. And I'm only focused on one of them.
Led by Cardin, Jaune From this day forward, you will work together as Team Juniper.
Actually, something that I wonder here is why do they get Juniper instead of something that would actually fit around the name of their leader, Jaune, in this case. Like the Cardin team gets Cardinal, and as it's gonna be incredibly obvious, RWBY gets RWBY because of RWBY. So I wonder why. Is it because there was no way to get the team name for Jaune and the others to sound like Jaune, something similar to Jaune's name? The one thing that actually bothers me about the animation is that when bodies interact, like Yang and RWBY were there like hugging, it feels like there's no contact. Like you see her hugging and you know, okay, they're supposed to be, their bodies are touching, but yet you don't feel the contact between the bodies. Like it feels like it's just like she wrapped her arms around her, but she's not touching her. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Hey, look, it's Torchwick, who I forgot to mention earlier. It's actually, this design is actually based on a character from Pinocchio, but it's also incredibly influenced by Alex from Clockwork Orange. And there's your Monopoly money. Ooh, shiny. Forever Fall, Cups, Commercial District, Residential, Beacon, Agricultural District, Cups, Dumb Cups, what? There's this clear difference between Dumb Cups and Cups. Hi, what a nice calm morning, right guys? Jesus Christ, RWBY! Is that really the best way to wake up somebody in the middle of the morning? I'll be honest, I really do like the look of the uniform here for Beacon. Though I don't get why RWBY's still allowed to wear her red hood. Eh? Hi, Achievement Hunter poster. Still better than 50 Shades of Grey. I actually really do like the music in this part, it's kinda funky. Yeah.
Maybe we could ditch some of our stuff. Or we could ditch the beds and replace them with bunk beds. That sounds incredibly dangerous.
It depends on how close you are to the ceiling.
It does seem official. Well, we should put it to a vote. I think we just did.
I love the expressions that Weiss does there. I mean, this there. Yes, I speak good English. Yeah, that looks safe. Using the beds, using books as the bed holder.
Now we have a few classes together today. I've
I hope I don't roll into this problem when I go into college. Didn't you guys just have super speed a few episodes earlier?
Monsters, demons, prowlers of the night. Yes, the creatures of Grimm.
A little trivia here for you guys. This guy here, Mr. Peter Port, he's actually voiced by Ryan Haywood, aka the Mad King of the Achievement Hunter. And I'll be honest, I love how he just glorifies this character. Like, I cannot picture this character with any other voice other than Ryan's.
Demons in an otherwise treacherous world. Our planet is absolutely teeming with creatures that would love nothing more than to tear you to pieces. And that's where we come in. Huntsmen, huntresses.
And of course, that isn't creepy at all. Big, fat, mustache-filled Ryan trying to hit on a 17-year-old.
Why, the very world
Who is that guy again?
is what you are training to become. But first, a story. A tale of a young, handsome man. Me, when I was
Just as egotistical as Ryan, I see. Are you even drawing anything, Ruby? You just look like your pencil is hovering over the paper like, wee, this is fun! Is this how I art? Nobody interrupts the Mad King.
years in Nashville, and I returned to my village with the beast in captivity and my
Edgar the Cow.
celebrated as a hero. The moral of the story? A true huntsman must be honorable. A true huntsman must be dependable. A true huntsman must be strategic, well-educated, and
Ew, Ruby, really? For once, I'm glad that the graphics are as they are. That way I don't see the finger actually going in. Thank you, Monty. I really needed to see that. Fight Edgar. Edgar, the Warhog. When did they have to make the time to make that little flag there?
Ruby, I'm trying to focus. Oh, sorry.
all right. Let the match begin.
Jesus Christ, Edgar's really pissed off.
Wasn't expecting that, were you?
Hang in there, Weiss.
Bold, you're bold. I like it.
Come on, Weiss, show him who's boss.
Oh, now what will you do without your weapon?
Seriously, he sounds like he's really trying to do my job for me here.
Go for his belly. There's no armor underneath. Stop telling me what to do.
Well, she's kind of the leader of the group, and she's trying to give you advice. You were just attacking the... Okay, this thing suddenly becomes Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, as I said before, stop complaining. You were attacking the armored hand instead of attacking the weak spot. So at least be thankful that she told you something.
In the presence of a true huntress in training. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to cover the assigned reading. And
AKA the essay about me, and my kingdom. Are you really asking that, Johnny? She's a bitch, that's what's wrong with her.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be a leader, and all you've been so far is a nuisance. What did I do? That's just it. You've done nothing to earn your position. Back in the forest, you acted like a child, and you only continue to do so. Weiss, where is this coming from? What happened to all the talk about working together? I thought you believed in acting as a team. Not a team led by you. I've studied and trained, and quite frankly, I deserve better. Austin made a mistake.
Ow! Just, ow!
Now that didn't seem to go very well.
Is she right? Did you make a mistake?
That remains to be seen.
Exactly, you've only been working for one day. Again, this girl, it's actually a really good idea here as far as the writing goes, in that it's kind of like with Shiro in Fate Night, that he's just so optimistic about being a hero of justice that it gets into Ruby's head.
Huntress in you.
You really think so?
Oh, surely. Something's troubling you.
Yes, sir.
Dear girl, confess to me your strife.
Tell me your sins, for I am your Lord and Savior.
That's preposterous.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's in one day. RWBY, I've made more mistakes than any man, woman, and child on this planet. But at this moment, I would not consider your appointment to leader to be one of them. Do you?
Excuse me?
I've believed in Professor Osmond for many years, and the man's never once led me astray.
So you would just believe
He still taught me that having a big belly was a good idea, and I still have a wife, so yes, never let us stray.
Battlefield is matched only by your poor attitude.
dare you?
My point
Oh, burn!
I see a girl before me who has spent her entire life getting exactly what she wanted.
That's not even remotely true.
Really?
Well, not in
Don't try to deny it, bitch. You can't lie to the Mad King. You shall be punished dearly.
If you are not always performing at your absolute best, then what reason do you give others to follow you?
So the outcome did not fall in your favor. Do you really believe that acting in such a manner would cause those in power to reconsider their decision? So instead of fretting about
Pretty much.
don't
Instead of actually acting like a bitch, start trying to prove to everybody that you are worthy of such a position.
not the best leader, but the best person you can be.
You've been burdened with a daunting responsibility. I advise you take some time to think about how you will uphold it.
Yeah, because that is completely and utterly safe. Aww. Let the fanfiction begin.
Sitting and then I fell asleep. I'm sorry. How do you take your coffee? I don't answer the question. Cream and 5 sugars.
You know what? Talking that loudly, we're probably woken up the two other girls.
Here. Thanks, Weiss. I think you have what it takes to be a good leader. Just know that I am going to be the best teammate you'll ever have. Good luck studying. That's wrong, by the way.
That is another problem that I have with the show. It is incredibly,
I always wanted the best to win.
even though the development is well done, it feels a bit rushed. Like, I'm being honest here, this just happened, and then the next time that we see them, they're getting along almost perfectly fine. Like, those still have their little arguments, but not to the degree that they did before, which makes sense considering that they're trying to work together, but I don't know, it feels a bit rushed for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just looking way too much into it. Go, Johnny, go! It's never a good idea to drop your shield if you're actually gonna use it.
Where you lose.
This is the part where he kills you.
That's enough. Students, as you can see, Mr. Ark's aura has now dropped into the red. In a tournament-style duel, this would indicate that Jaune is no longer fit for battle, and that the official may call the match. Mr. Ark, it's been weeks now. Please try to refer to your scroll during combat. Gauging your aura will help you decide when it is appropriate to attack, or when it is better to move to a more defensive strategy. We wouldn't want you to be gobbled up by a Beowulf, now would we?
Speak for yourself.
Fuck you, asshole.
Remember everyone, the final festival is only a
And now it's time for what many consider the worst part of the show. The and I'm one of those people. This is the bully arc. I'm not kidding. We actually have a bully arc. Our bully here is actually led by what, in some of the RT shorts, is the bully of Rooster Teeth, Adam Ellis, voicing Cardin Winchester. And honestly, this is probably one of my least favorite arcs in the entire series thus far for me.
Surrounded by Ursa.
They were Beowulf.
Doesn't love them.
2 of them.
But they were no match. And in the end, Ren and I took them down and made a boatload of Leanne selling Ursa's skin rugs.
She's been having this recurring dream for nearly a month now.
John, are you okay?
How do you get your own dreams wrong, and yet the person right next to you who you spew this information all the time get it right, even though he didn't have the dream?
Guys, I'm fine. Seriously. Look.
John, Cardin has been picking on you since the first week of
This is another part that makes me think that this show is intended for a younger audience, considering that the bullies, the way that they're acting is not very realistic, so to speak. Like, it's very like things that you would see in our cartoon. Not so much what I was expecting from Rooster Teeth, because like I was expecting something a bit more realistic with bullies. If they really didn't a bully arc, then they should have gone with something a bit more real instead of something so cartoonish, like shoving the person into the locker or making their items work against them. By the way, who the fuck gets a rocket-propelled locker? Why would you need that?
John, you know if you ever need help, you can just ask. He'll break his legs.
I support that movement.
Really, it's fine. Besides, it's not like he's only a jerk to me. He's a jerk to everyone.
Including poor little Verbert Scarlatina.
Please stop.
And as you can see, yes, we do have animal people in this universe called Faunus. Or Faunus. I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize.
Atrocious. I can't stand people like him. He's not the only one. It must be hard to be honest.
Though actually, I think the only reason why this arc exists is to build up to the next arc that deals with the Faunus. But I will talk about that after this arc. And now it's time for Joel Heyman as Sonic the Hedgehog, color green.
While this must feel like ancient history's magic view, it is imperative to remember that these are relatively recent events. Why, repercussions of the uprising can still be seen to this day. Now,
I just realized the guy has mismatched shoes.
been subjugated or discriminated because of your faunus heritage.
Yes.
Simply Crystal. Remember, students, it is precisely this kind of ignorance that breeds violence. I mean, just look at what happened to White Fang. Now, which one of you young scholars can tell me what many theorists believe to be the turning points in the third year of the war?
I know it. Aww.
Precisely. And
I thought it was the Holy Grail War.
on his hand over General Lagoon's forces. Hey, Mr. R, finally contributing to class. This is excellent, excellent. What is the answer?
I cannot tell what accent he's trying to do.
Answer. The advantage of faunus
Well, at least he knows what the question was.
that guys.
How?
Binoculars.
Well, that is usually the position used for binoculars. I don't know how you would explain night vision like that.
Cardin, perhaps you would care to share your thoughts on the subject.
Well, I know it's a lot easier to train an animal than a soldier.
You're not the most open-minded of individuals, are you, Cardin?
What? You got a problem?
No, I have the answer. It's night vision. Many faunus are known to have nearly perfect sight in the dark.
General Lagoon was inexperienced and made the mistake of trying to ambush the faunus in their sleep. His massive army was outmatched, and the general was captured. Perhaps if he'd paid attention in class, he wouldn't have been remembered as such a failure.
Mr.
Oh, burn!
Please take your seat. You and Mr. R can both see me after class for additional meetings. Now, Mr. R, I am sure you will agree that the faunus are a
And that's why it's a bad idea to laugh at people during class, regardless of whether they're assholes or not.
You two have been struggling in my class since day one. Now,
Or probably because you speed faster than me.
or just your stubborn nature, but whatever it is, it stops now. You were taught to gain entrance to the school, and we only accept the best of the best. So, I expect you to act like it. History is important, gentlemen. If you can't learn from it, you're destined to repeat it. Pages 51 to 91. I want an essay on my desk by next class. Now, run along.
The teacher was right there. He probably could have seen. Well, considering how fast it was going, he probably was already at Starbucks by the time that happened.
I have an idea. Here, come with me.
You're gonna take him on a date? I'll be honest, I actually like the female version of the Beacon uniform more than the male version.
Going through a hard time right now, but I'm not that depressed.
Actually, knowing myself, I probably would have had the same thought as Johnny just there.
I know you're having a difficult time in class, and that you're still not the strongest of fighters, so I want to help you.
What?
We can train up here after class where no one can bother us.
You think I need help?
No, that's not what I meant.
But you just said it.
Jaune, everybody needs a little push from time to time. It doesn't make you any different from the rest of us. You made it to Beacon. That speaks volumes of what you're capable of.
You're wrong. I don't belong here.
That's a terrible thing to say. Of course you do.
No, I don't. I wasn't really accepted into Beacon.
What do you mean?
I mean, I didn't go to combat school, I didn't pass any tests, I didn't earn my spot at this academy. I lied. I got my hands on some fake transcripts, and I lied.
How?
But why?
How do you get your hand in fake transcripts?
My grandfather and his father before were all warriors. They were all heroes.
If I don't know how you managed to do it, but huh?
Then let me help you.
I don't want help. I don't want to be the damsel in distress. I want to be the hero.
Jaune,
I'm tired of being the lovable idiot stuck in the tree while his friends fight for their lives. Don't you understand? If I can't do this on my own, then what good am I? Just leave me alone, okay?
if that's what you think is best.
I really do. Oh, fuck me.
Cardin,
I couldn't help but overhear you two from my dorm room. So, you snuck into Beacon, huh? I gotta say, Jaune, I never expected you to be such a rebel.
please.
Actually, the fact that he managed to get fake transcripts, which I still don't get how that works, by the way, actually kind of proves how smart Johnny is, even though he's kind of a sucky leader and fighter.
Of course. We're friends now, Johnny boy. And the way I see it, as long as you're there for me when I need you, we'll be friends for a long time.
I just saw your hand clipping through your abdomen there, Cardin.
I really don't have time to do those extra readings Dr. RWBY gave us today. Think you could take care of that for me, buddy? That's what I thought. Don't worry, Jaune. Your secret's safe with me.
How did Jaune get home so late?
He's become rather scarce ever since he was back in Cardin.
That's weird. Doesn't he know we have field trip tomorrow? We need our quest.
I'm sure our leader knows exactly what he's doing.
I guess so.
I actually wonder why Kara is so pissed at Johnny. Like, does she know what's going on with him and Cardin, or is she just pissed that he pretty much told her no?
Where have you been lately?
I messed up. I did something I shouldn't have, and now Cardin's
got me on a leash, and Pyrrha won't even talk to me.
Well, have you tried talking to her?
I'm a failure. No.
No. You're a leader now, Jaune. You're not allowed to be a failure.
But what if I'm a failure at being a leader?
That has to be one of the most blunt answers of all time. I want to kill myself. No, I've had AIDS. No, you don't.
You might have even been a failure the first day we met. But you can't.
You're not doing a very good job at making him happy, are you, RWBY?
Because it's not just about you anymore. You've got a team now, Jaune. We both do. And if we fail, then we'll just be bringing them down with us. We have to put our teammates first and ourselves second. Your team deserves a great leader, Jaune. And I think that can be you. Have a good night, Jaune.
Hey, it's your buddy Cardin. I know you're probably busy with that best friend I gave you, but I'm going to teach you to know how to get the evacuation process. And make sure they've got some really big stingers. It's important, so don't screw this up.
Rapier Wasp. Why does it sound like an enemy in a video game, like in a Final Fantasy game?
Yes, students, the Forest of Forever Fall is indeed beautiful, but we are not here to sightsee. Professor Peach has asked all of you to collect samples from the trees deep inside this forest, and I'm here to make sure that none of you die while doing so. Each of you is to gather 1 jar's worth of red sap. However, this forest is full of the creatures of Grimm, so be sure to stay by your teammates. We will rendezvous back here at 4 o'clock.
If it wasn't for the creatures of Grimm, this would actually be a really cool place to go and have a picnic. Sorry about that. Dude, really, bully or girl that has a crush on you, it shouldn't be that hard to decide.
Hey, great work, Johnny boy. Now that wasn't too hard, was it?
I think I'm allergic to this stuff.
Great. So, Jaune, I bet you're asking yourself, why did my buddy Cardin ask me to collect 6 jars of tree sap when there's only 5 of us?
That is one of the many questions I have asked myself today, yes?
Well, come with me and you'll find out.
Oh.
Now, considering that only Cardin and the Green Boy talk from the entire team, I wonder why they even bother giving a... What is wrong with Ren's hand? Seriously, he looks broken!
Cardin, what's going on?
Payback.
Pyrrha?
What do you... That's the girl. Red-haired, know-it-all, thinks she's so smart. All right, boys. Last night, old John here managed to round up an entire box full of rapier wasps. And now, we're gonna put him to work. Now, according to one of the essays you wrote for me last week, these nasty things...
You actually read the essay? Well, I suppose that's kind of smart. If somebody's gonna ask you a question on the essay, you at least want to know what you have.
And yours is to do it. Do what? Hit her with a sap. Either that, or I'll have a chat with Goodwitch, and you'll be on the first airship out of Eden.
No.
What did you say?
I said no.
You should have aimed either higher or lower.
Oh.
It actually kind of looks like he's wearing a bra now.
Pyrrha? You okay? Yeah. Nora!
How did she drink that?
You know that wasn't very smart, Johnny boy. I'm gonna make sure they send you back to Mommy in teeny,
Well, at least he's being able to stand up to you and take your punches. You forgot about that, didn't you, John?
Let's see how much of a man you really are.
Holy cow, who gave the Ursa even more spikes? Fresh meat, fresh meat, fresh meat. You deserve that. I actually find it interesting how some of the songs in the show are actually orchestral remixes of the theme songs of the show. Like, for example, right now we're having a remix of This Will Be the Day. That when RWBY was fighting Roman Torchwick in the first episode, there was a remix of her theme, Red Like Roses.
Back there, it's got Cardin!
John! Yay! You and Blake, go get Professor Goodwitch. You two, go with them. There could be more.
Break him! Break him! Break him! Break him! But actually, doesn't Cardin have aura as well? Couldn't he just use it to fight back? Why did you save him? He doesn't deserve it. This is a great moment for Johnny, but he really need to save Cardin? Yep, your aura is now in level red. I'll be honest, I actually misunderstood this part there. Holy fuck, that is gruesome!
What? How did you... Well, RWBY has her speed. You have your bliss. My semblance is polarity.
You can control poles.
No, you dunce. It means she has control over magnetism.
I actually misunderstood this part the first time that I saw it. Like, I actually thought that she was using polarity to make the shield even stronger. She was actually moving it there. That was my mistake. But still, the fact that we were able to see Johnny fighting as an actual competent fighter to some extent is actually a rather nice touch. Like, it actually helps to his development. But honestly, as much as I love how Johnny got developed in this arc, like, he's still the wimpy little butt monkey shit, but even though it's a good development of him trying to become a bit stronger, honestly, this should have been left for Volume 2 in my opinion. Because again, we're losing time to develop the main crew, which is the RWBY team. But once again, Monty Oum said that the JNPR team is not supposed to be the supporting characters, it's supposed to be second lead characters, like along with the RWBY team. But still, I would have liked it if we had seen more of the RWBY team, but that might be just me. But I did enjoy how Johnny got some development at the very least.
John, it's okay. Your team really misses their leader, you know. You should come down. Bread made pancakes.
Knowing Nora, she already ate them all.
Wait! I know I don't deserve it after all that happened. Would you still be willing to help me? To help me become a better fighter?
Start by kicking him in the balls. Jesus Christ, Johnny, you're a fucking wimp.
You need to be wider and lower to the ground. Let's try that again.
Yay, nice music. Isn't that the same salesman from Isn't that the same salesman from episode 1?
I don't think I've ever seen you smile this much, Weiss. I'm weirding me out.
It's kinda creepy actually. Please become depressing and a bitch again.
Dances, parades, a tournament. Oh, the amount of planning and organization that goes into this event is simply breathtaking. You really know how to take a good thing and make it sound boring. Quite you. Remind me again why we're spending our Friday afternoon visiting the stupid docks. Oh, they smell like fish.
Probably because you're in a dock.
Be arriving my ship today. And as a representative of Beacon, I feel as though it is my solemn duty to welcome them to this fine kingdom. She wants to
Wait, this is a kingdom?
have the upper hand in the tournament. Oh, you can't prove that. Whoa. What happened here?
Robbery. Second dust shot to be hit this week.
Who's the one doing that voice? It's so weird.
They left all the money in.
I know one of those voices is definitely Bernie Burns, but I don't know the others.
You know what I mean? You thinking the, white Fang? Yeah, I'm thinking we don't get paid enough.
Yeah, those are definitely Joel and Bernie Burns, the original founder of Rooster Teeth.
What's your problem? My problem.
And now comes the arc that I said that the previous arc was building up to. The bully arc, I believe it was building up to the Faunus arc, and now we're dealing with racism. And actually I think it's handled rather well in this arc. Like, again, it has its flaws, but it's handled relatively well.
Why they would rob a dust shop in the middle of downtown Vale. It's got a point. Besides, the police never caught that portrait guy I ran into a few months ago. Maybe it was him. That still doesn't change the fact that the White Fang are a bunch of scum. Those faunus only know how to lie, cheat, and steal. That's not necessarily true. Hey, stop that fight!
Thanks for the ride, guys.
Meet Sun Wukong.
I'm a great stowaway.
And if you have your Rooster Teeth knowledge, you shall know that this guy is actually voiced by none other than Michael Jones, aka the protagonist of the Rage Quit series. And honestly, just because when I found out that he was being voiced by Michael, I was seriously expecting him to at least have at least one curse word at some point in this show. Casanova Mogar.
Well, you wanted to see the competition, and there goes. Quick, we have to observe him!
Well, you can observe him with your eyes. You just did for a second there. That's what happens when you try and chase a monkey. Hi, creepy little girl.
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking.
You can at least try to move.
Get up.
I would probably have the same reaction.
Pleasure to meet you. Hi, Benny. I'm RWBY. I'm Weiss. Blake, are you sure you didn't hit your head?
Creepy shit here is voiced by Taylor Pelto, who is actually the artist for the back. Oh, she's the artist for the backgrounds in the entire show. Okay, now I know who to congratulate. Creepy girl here.
She was.
Special.
Now, where did that bonus riffraff run off to? What did you call me? Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't think you heard me. No. You.
Her?
I don't know. When you call me friend. Am I really your friend?
We just met like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
This is like every subscriber on YouTube. Hey, can we be friends? Hey, can you do a commentary with me? Shut up! I just met you like 5 seconds ago.
Talk about your boys. Is this what it was like when you met me? No. She seems far more important.
I don't think so.
What are you doing in
Heck yeah, I support that.
If you're here for the tournament, does that mean you know that monkey killed Rapscallion? The who? The filthy fawners from the boat! Why are you
Who drew that?
Huh? Stop calling him a rapscallion. Stop calling him a degenerate. He's a person.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to stop referring to the trash can as a trash can? Or this lamppost as a lamppost?
Stop it!
Stop what?
Even though I get what they're trying to do, that line of the lamppost and the trash can could have been delivered or done better.
Oh, you ignorant little brat!
Again, there should have been a curse word there, I think.
How dare you talk to me like that?
Well, you are one!
You are a judgmental little girl.
What in the world makes you say that?
I think we should probably go.
Where are we going?
Anywhere where these girls are not gonna start a nuclear war between each other.
That's not what I meant, and you know it.
I don't understand why this is causing such a problem. That
Suddenly jump cut.
realize you're defending an organization that hates humanity, don't you? The thoughts of the White Fang are pure evil. There's no such thing as pure evil.
My book would like to disagree.
It's because of people like Cardin, people like you, that force the White Fang to take such drastic measures. People like me? You're discriminatory. I'm a victim.
I'm a victim!
You want to know why I despise the White Fang? Why I don't particularly trust the Phonics? It's because they've been at war with my family for years. War as an actual bloodshed. My grandfather's company has had its target painted across its back for as long as I can remember. And ever since I was a child, I watched family friends disappear. Board members executed. An entire train car full of dust stolen.
I do believe that might be a reference to the Black trailer, but don't quote me on that. Because in the Black trailer, Blake and a character called Adam actually are attacking one of the trains that Weiss's company owns. Because they ruined your childhood, we get it. The fact that wait, why did you just say we? Honestly, just from the design, we can tell why she said we. It's not necessarily a hard spoiler. I mean, a very big spoiler, considering, first of all, the ribbon, and secondly, the fact that when Ruby was falling in the Nevermore episode, the ribbon actually twitched like ears. When I guess why, ladies and gentlemen? Blake Beldona is a faunus.
I knew you would look better without the bow.
I can't tell if I like her better with or without the bow. I guess I'm just more used to the bow because of all the conceptual artwork.
She's been gone all weekend. Blake's a big girl. I'm sure she can handle herself. Weiss, come on. She's one of our teammates. Is she? We all heard what she said. Weiss, maybe she is, maybe she isn't. Either way, she's missing.
She's still human. Well, to some extent, she's half human, I guess.
We just hope she's okay.
So,
You don't even bother using your hands, don't you?
Finally, she speaks. Nearly 2 days and you've given me nothing but small talk and weird looks. Yeah, like that.
Son, are you familiar with the White Fang?
Of course. I don't think there's a faunus on the planet who hasn't heard of them. Stupid, holier-than-thou creeps that use force to get whatever they want. Bunch of freaks, if you ask me.
I was once a member of the White Fang.
That I did not think of until I thought of the Black trailer.
You're a member of the White Fang?
That's right. I was a member for most of my life, actually. You could almost say I was born into it. Back then, things were different. In the ashes of war, the White Fang
was meant to be a symbol of peace and unity between humans and the faunus. Of course, despite being promised equality, the faunus were subjected to discrimination and hate.
Just like black people, Asians, Latinos, and pretty much a lot of minorities here in the real world.
And I was there.
Okay, little Blake is incredibly cute. I'm gonna say that right now. She needs a 3D model.
And I actually thought we were making a difference. But I was just a youthful optimist. Then, 5 years ago, our leader stepped down. And a new one took his place. A new leader with a new way of thinking. Suddenly, our peaceful protests were being replaced with organized attacks. We were setting fire to shops that refused to serve us, hijacking cargo from companies that used faunus labor. And the worst part was, it was working. We were being treated like equals. But not out of respect, out of fear. So, I left. I decided I no longer wanted to use my skills to aid in their violence, and instead I would dedicate my life to becoming a huntress. So here I am, a criminal hiding in plain view, all with the help of a little black bow.
So, have you told your friends any of this?
You told them that she was a faunus, but other than that, nothing. I'll offer you some fishy if you come.
You know who might be able to help? The police. It was just an idea. Yeah, bad one.
Weiss, I think we should hear her side of the story before we jump to any conclusions.
I think when we hear it, you'll all realize I was right.
And I think Weiss's hair looks wonderful today.
Where did you come from?
Hey guys, what are you up to?
We're looking for our friend Blake.
Oh, you mean the faunus girl.
Okay, so luckily the fanbase wasn't the only one to realize it. They even realized it in the show rather quickly. And thus the RWBY team realizes they're a bunch of idiots.
So, where is she?
We don't know. She's been missing since Friday.
That's terrible. Well, don't you worry, Ruby, my friend. I won't rest until we find your teammate.
That's really nice of you, Penny. But we're okay. Really. Right, guys?
Nice support there, buddy.
Sure is windy today.
So, what's the plan now?
I still don't believe the White Fang was behind these robberies. They've never needed that much dust before.
What if they did? I mean, the only way to prove that they didn't do it is to go to the place where they would most likely go to if they were to do it.
And here's a huge animation error in the Blu-ray version. In the internet version, which is probably the one that a lot of you are using, Blake Sun's hand goes in front, like when in that scene where when we were seeing the back of her head while she was talking to Sun, his hand is blocked by her face when he goes near her. But in the Blu-ray version, his face blocks her head. Like, the layers were mixed up, and it happens again. It actually happened during the Cardin versus Johnny fight in the last arc. So I wonder what happened in between releases.
Mad at her? Yes. Well, I'm not. Weiss is. Is she friends with Blake? Well, that's kind of up in the air right now. But why? Well, you see, Blake might not be who we thought she was.
She's still the same person.
No, honey, she's not. I don't know what she is.
She's still the same person, you know. It's like her personality is the same. The only thing that changes is that now you know that she's half animal.
Did I miss anything?
Not really. They've offloaded all the crates from the boat. Now they're just sitting there.
Cool. I stole you some food.
Do you always break the law without a second thought?
Hey, weren't you in a cult or something?
I love Blake's face there. He's just like, you wanna say that again, you little bitch? I'm gonna break you a new one. Yep, couldn't you tell from the logo in their back?
All right, grab the tow cable.
You really didn't think they were behind it, did you?
No. I think deep down I
actually kind of interesting that the White Fang here is fighting for their supremacy, quote unquote, and they're still allowing this human to treat them like dirt. I don't know why Weiss's animation, Blake's animation there made me think of the Tasmanian game for the GameCube. You're still wearing the bow in that last shot. How? I would call it a medium one. Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't that blow you up too? You know what? I don't know why I just want Sun to have like a scream like Donkey Kong, like oh, like Tarzan or something. Once again, the action by Monty Oum never ceases to amaze me, especially with some of the weapons in the show. Yeah, surprisingly, I've managed to avoid talking about them. But yeah, the weapons in the show are just insane. Like, you already saw the Crescent Rose, which is RWBY's gun size. Now we have, but as an Asian staff that can turn into nunchucks, that can turn in that shoots rifle bullets, and it seems to not run out of ammo. Apparently, 5, 6, 19, 20, 50. It was around 25 shots there. Here I come to save the day. Okay, that shot was didn't hit the wall. It clearly hit her. Wait, or I forgot about that. What the hell? Okay, it's official. Blazblue is incredibly influencing the show. Although I wouldn't be surprised considering how Dead Fantasy was one of the inspirations for Monty. How Blazblue incredibly influenced Monty Oum's decision with some of the with the Dead Fantasy series. Seriously, some of the movements of the swords on her back really make me think of New 13, like almost word for word. Well, except this Infinity Laser. Though if that was in Blazblue, that would be pretty freaking cool. Yo, Arc System Works, get on it. Oh, she does it with ropes. I never noticed that actually. Apparently the ropes are so thin that only the viewer can see them. Kaboom! Oh, and if Monty Oum has been telling us anything, they're gonna get even weirder, buddy. Just wait into Volume 2. What? Again, this is one of my problems with this show, is that some of the development feels incredibly either rushed or forced, especially here. We're dealing with a character that clearly had a lot of racial problems before. Like, she thought that all fauna deserved the 6 levels of hell. And now just off screen, she says, nah, you're my friend, I can handle it. No! I would have at least liked to see more of that. At least, if you could have 2 episodes, like you did with the Nevermore episodes, developing both perspectives, both the perspective of Weiss and the perspective of Blake, it would have been awesome, but still. In Volume 2. Queen has pawns. What does that mean? But ladies and gentlemen, that is the ending to RWBY Volume 1. An amazing, well, I don't want to say amazing, because honestly it is a great show, but it does have a lot of flaws. The music is fantastic. I honestly will say right now, the music is one of my favorite things out of the entire show. The soundtrack you can actually get on Amazon, and you can get it rather cheap. It's like $12, and you can also get it physical in the RoosterTeeth store. But anyway, all the music is fantastic, and it really does compete with some of the best anime soundtracks that I've heard in my entire life. So the character development is rather forced and rushed, especially towards the end with Blake and Weiss. And I do find it a bit jarring that Yang, who is supposed to be one of the main 4 characters, doesn't get the development that I thought she was supposed to get, especially considering that she's supposed to be RWBY's sister. But because of the lack of development, I never felt that sisterly love. Oh, they hugged each other. Okay, I do that with my friends again, and we're not siblings or anything. However, this show, regardless of those flaws that I mentioned, it is a joy to watch. There is a reason why I'm still waiting for Volume 2 to come out soon this summer. Because RWBY really does show how you can push a dream forward. Monty Oum has mentioned many times in interviews that he's been wanting to make RWBY ever since he started animating. The fact that he managed to do it, even if it was just 1 volume so far, is something to really appreciate. This is a dream of a man who's been working for a long time, and honestly, regardless of whether you like it or not, I think that deserves praise. The fact that RoosterTeeth was able to create this show with such a little budget, which they have, I mean, they already have a little budget. Their budget is not grand, like it's a good budget, but compared to other production companies, it's rather small. And the fact that they managed to do it is really amazing. The money given by fans, by investors, it was really well spent, I believe. I'm really expecting Volume 2 to fix on some of the problems that they have, like giving Yang more development and introducing us to more development for the rest of the Juniper team. This is a show that, even though as of this point I wouldn't put it in like the biggest ranking of all time, it's still a show that I believe anybody can, a lot of people can enjoy. Like, not everybody's gonna like it, I know that for a fact, but I believe that that at least a lot of people are going to enjoy it, whether they're anime fans or RoosterTeeth fans. I actually think that it's a good way to get people into anime. And apparently we have a credits part at the end.
You were the ones who suggested working with us, given much of the white Fang.
And you will continue to do so. We have big plans for you, Roman. All we ask is a little cooperation.
And that is the ending of Volume 1. The true ending of Volume 1, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little information before we actually cut here, is that another problem that I have with the series is that a lot of the names of the characters, like for example the bad girl that we met right here, Cinderfall, you're gonna need to go into the wiki to know this. The character Cinderfall, which is the character we just saw talking, is actually voiced by cosplayer Jessica Nigri. Nigri, please. But anyway, it is a great show, and I really did enjoy it, and I really do hope that the next seasons do improve on the problems that he has, and that it ups the scale. We can already see how the scale is going from the group getting into the school to now having to fight this bigger force, which is the Cinder group with Roman Torchwick. But anyway, great music, great animation, great fights. Story could be better, and again, you can tell just by the dialogue how heading towards a younger audience. Maybe Volume 2 will change that, but God knows. So ladies and gentlemen, with that said, this is a show that I really recommend you guys watch if you haven't already, though considering that you're hearing this commentary, you probably already watched it with me. So, on the comment section below, I want you to put your comments, send me a video of you through a private message of your opinions of the show, whatever. Just tell me what you thought of it, and if you're excited for Season 2, then scream it loud and say it proud. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the RunnerGuitar, and I'll see you next time on RWBY Volume 2.